Hey guys, welcome back to Cooking with Philly. I'm Ava and today we're making a shrimp scampi. I'm here today with Dr. Valerie G. Segovia. We are super excited to have her. She's from the Nuclear Power Institute at the Texas A&M. Okay, so to get started with this recipe, we're gonna need our Philly wild shrimp, a large size, works well for this recipe. 2 tablespoons of butter, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 4 cloves of garlic, half of a cup of seafood broth or wine, salt and pepper to taste, red pepper flakes to taste, 1/3 cup of chopped parsley, half of a juiced lemon, and then some pasta or crusty bread to pair it with. So to first get started with this recipe, we're gonna need to start our stove. All you need for this recipe is 1 pan. We're gonna go ahead and add in our 2 tablespoons of oil, just do an estimate there, and our butter. And we're gonna wait for our butter to melt. And we'll just wait for it to melt in there.
And Ava, why are you adding 2 different types of fat, the olive oil and the butter?
We're gonna add that in for flavor and for saturated fats. So they pair really well together and the butter adds great flavor.
And I know a lot of people think that olive oil and maybe butter may not be a healthy version, but that's not always the case.
It just depends on what you're pairing it with. You can definitely make this recipe a little bit healthier by cutting out the starches all together, so don't add the pasta or the bread, and you can eat this shrimp all alone by itself and it tastes just as great. All right, now that our butter's melted, we're gonna go ahead and add in our garlic and just saute it until it's fragrant, which should take about a minute.
Nice. Ava, you mentioned that today we're going to use wild shrimp.
Yes.
What is wild shrimp?
So a wild shrimp is any shrimp that's caught in its natural habitat. For us, it's caught in the Gulf of Mexico, and that's where we get all of our wild shrimp from.
What makes me really proud, especially being part of Texas A&M University and being part of Texas and being here in Texas, is to also understand the wild shrimp industry here in Texas is basically #1.
Yeah, so the Texas wild shrimp industry is #1 in wild brown producing shrimp, and everything's bigger in Texas.
So no matter if it's wild or farm raised, it's the best in the US here in Texas.
Yes, for sure. We have the biggest and best shrimp. Okay, now that our garlic is very fragrant, we're gonna go ahead and add in our seafood broth, our chili flakes, and some salt and pepper to taste. And then we're gonna let it simmer and let the broth reduce to about half, so it should take about 5 minutes.
So Ava, can you tell me a little bit about the shrimp? Today you said we were using large wild shrimp. What makes a shrimp large? That seems a little bit of an oxymoron.
Yeah, so there's a standard of sizing. Calling a shrimp large could be relative. So I can think a shrimp's colossal while you think it's large or vice versa. But we do have a standard of sizing. So a 16-20 bag of shrimp would have 16 to 20 shrimp per pound. And also the life cycle of a shrimp is 12 to 18 months. So the later you catch it in life, obviously the bigger it'll be.
And I'm also really curious about the numbers. I've heard people ask me, myself, and I've always gotten a little confused with the numbering that are on shrimp, the way they're advertised. I think today, what size are we using?
We're using 16-20 shrimp. The sizing of shrimp, you can see a bag that says 21-25, and that means the shrimp are gonna be a little bit smaller than the 16-20 because it has 21 to 25 shrimp per bag, or per pound. So you definitely, if you want a smaller shrimp, shoot for higher numbers. If you want a bigger shrimp, shoot for lower numbers. So you can do a U10, which would be 10 shrimp or under, and those shrimp are gonna be pretty big. Okay, now that our broth has reduced down to about half its size, we're gonna go ahead and add in our Philly wild shrimp. There we go. And we're gonna let them cook for about 2 to 4 minutes. So what do you do at the Nuclear Power Institute at A&M?
So I've been with the Nuclear Power Institute for, I guess I'm going on my 12th year now, and we really focus on developing relationships at the state level and local levels, of course. We spend a lot of time and effort developing outreach programs for K-12, and we've had a really wonderful, successful history by doing that. And I really do appreciate you, Ava, for allowing me to be in your kitchen today, because although our mission is about building the Texas workforce, we know that to do that in a successful, sustainable way, we really have to stress STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Yes.
And being here in your Philly Seafood Kitchen today stresses another avenue of how we see and utilize science.
Yeah.
So this is great. I think, especially now that so many of our partners and our educators and students have to access material and information and curriculum online, having you as a partner here today is going to be so helpful and enjoyable and delicious, I might say, in expressing how science is used in the kitchen. So thank you so much.
That's awesome. I know a lot of people don't ever think about the science behind cooking, but there's a ton of it, a lot of things that we don't really notice on our day-to-day lives.
And another thing too, I know for so many of us, we love food. I know I love food. Do you love food?
Yes.
And it's an enjoyable outlet. And I think, again, that we're all stuck at home. So many of us are cooking more than we ever have before. And it's been a very important time to really think about the nutrition, how we're feeding our bodies, not only to keep us healthy during this time, but also mentally healthy as well. And food like this, shrimp that is rich in protein and vitamins, and of course these healthy recipes that you're sharing with us, really adds to that. So again, thanks so much.
All right, so now that our shrimp are cooked, we're gonna go ahead and add in our parsley and our lemon juice. We're gonna mix this up really well, and then you're all done. This recipe is so easy, it takes less than 20 minutes. Super great. Make sure to try this fun and delicious recipe. For more recipes like this, go to phillyseafood.com. This recipe was super easy, super fast to do. I'd also like to thank Dr. Valerie G. Segovia for being here today and teaching us a little bit about the science behind cooking. And remember to always keep it wild. Bye, y'all. Cheers.
Cheers.